Like yourself. Strive to be the best kind of person that you are proud to be, or at least someone that you aspire to be. You know, I've always done that my whole life. I've always sought out people that I wanted to be like or learn from. And, you know, as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues, right? They're showing me, they're doing it. That means it's possible. I don't know if it's probable, but it's possible I can do it too because it's been done. So like yourself and strive to be the kind of person that you want to be. Think of people you admire and their qualities and attributes and basically just emulate them. Learn from them. Study what they study and see what happens. In today's busy world, how can we find the inspiration, knowledge, and energy to live a healthy and empowered life? If we balance and harmonize our mind, exercise our body, live according to the laws of nature, and connect to spirit, can we find a way to heal, become our authentic self, and live our purpose with love? I am your hostess, Amy Fournier, and welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite. Hello, friends. I know you're interested in being as healthy and as fit and happy as possible, and we can't be healthy and fit and happy if we're stressed out. And we're going to be stressed out if we're worried about money, if we're worried about security. And money and security go together. We all need to feel financially secure. It's craziness out there. But one thing that I've found that's made me feel a lot better and has really helped me sleep at night is finding a great resource that I can trust for getting real gold and silver. Gold and silver is a great hedge against inflation. This resource is fantastic. It's meant for the everyday person, just like you and me, that don't know anything about gold and silver. You might want to diversify your assets a little bit and have a little bit of safeguard in gold and silver. Well, if so, please contact me. You can find it on my website, amyfournier.com, under Financial Freedom, or just hit me up with an email at amy@amyfournier.com and put in the subject line, interested in gold and silver. And I will set you up with some great resources that you can check out and see if it's for you or not. Hey, you know how picky I am, right? I have very high standards in my life, and that's why I'm so thrilled to share with you a company that not only has high standards and values that align with mine, but also makes products that promote health and do what they're supposed to do, and they taste great. This company is Paleo Valley. I love their pasture-raised turkey sticks and their apple cider vinegar complex, and I even love their protein bars. Oh my gosh, I mean, forewarning, they're totally delicious, and you might completely get addicted like I am, but they're worth it because you can enter my coupon code AmyFournier10 at checkout and save 10%. Just have fun shopping there. You can rest assured that everything there is healthy, is made with integrity, and you're getting what you think you're getting, which you can't always be assured of in this day and age, unfortunately. But don't worry, I gotcha. Please let me know your favorites. You can find me at FitAmyTV on Instagram and, of course, on YouTube at Awakening Aphrodite Podcast. Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. This show is about helping you to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit, as well as harmonize your masculine and feminine energy, tap into your intuition, your true source of power, and awaken your authentic self. Today, I want to share with you how we can become a high-value woman. I've put down 15 ideas, tips, thoughts, heartfelt messages for you of a little compilation that I've been putting together over the last few months. And I was kind of inspired by Jordan Peterson, did some kind of version. I think he did like a High Value Man podcast or something of that nature. It was really kind of cool. And it just got me thinking what are some traits that I have learned are important for me as a woman going through life? And kind of like that question, you hear people ask well, if you could give your younger self advice, what would you say, And I'm thinking, all right, how can I put together something to help my audience? Because I always try to give you value. And as we navigate through life, we know how important relationships are, right? one thing I've learned as I've gotten older with every passing year is that relationships are it. They are the most important thing, not only with others, but with ourselves, of course. They're what makes life worth living. You know, love is truly the greatest power and source of all. And relationships are the potential source for giving and getting love. So how can we get relationships that are fulfilling? And for me, I think feeling like you are valuable and you have something valuable to offer is very, very important in order to attract your reciprocal, or just to be able to, just really to be able to function at your optimal best. So let's get right to it. I've put together 15 of my personal ideas, and I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know which ones stand out for you, which ones might be challenging for you. And I'll just say, too, as a disclaimer, it doesn't mean I've got all these nailed down. Let me tell you, I'm a work in progress. That's for sure. But the beginning of any change and growth and evolution starts with being aware of where you're at right now, being hard, fast, honest about where you're at with yourself, and then making a plan for where you want to go. And then really believing that it's possible for you. And that might mean, you know, not biting off more than you can chew, but at least something that's attainable, another step, a step forward. It doesn't have to be the whole leap there, but something toward that direction. I've done this my whole life, you know, putting together, you know, even just like words or sticky notes or affirmations or whatever it is of the things that I want in my life and who I want to be, and most importantly, how I want to feel. I've been really big. You've heard me talk before about making a feel list. We all have a to-do list, but how about a to-feel list? This is how I want to feel today. And then really being open to however that might be delivered to you, making room for great spirit to come in and deliver in a different package or envelope than you would have expected. All right, so let's get to my top 15 tips on how to be a high-value woman. Tip number 1, you've got to have a life. You must have a life. I had a therapist say to me when I was in my teens and was in a very serious relationship at the time. And she said to me, you know, relationships are like 3 circles. And she drew a picture with her finger in the air, you know, and she was like, this is your circle. This is his circle. And then the 3rd circle is where they overlap. So you want to be independent, dependent, and interdependent. Like it's a kind of a triad, you know, but a lot of us lose that independent piece, particularly when we're deeply in love. You know, we just kind of completely lose ourselves. We lose touch with all our friends and the previous life we had before we met the person that we're madly in love with. Or maybe we've been in a relationship for a while and we're just completely, you know, enmeshed in each other, and we lose that independence. We lose that our own thing, you know, or the thing that maybe you used to love to do that you don't do anymore because now your free time is spent doing this, that, or the other, something different, right? Or, you know, your priorities change and all your energy is maybe raising children or taking care of a house or whatever it may be. So you lose that thing that you had, that was your thing. And this is very important. We have to keep ourselves, our sovereignty, our relationship with our own soul and our higher creator, whatever that is, that alone time is very, very important. So of course we don't want to be codependent, right? This is when you're basically like a parasite and you're kind of too tied in with the other person, and that's not healthy. And it leads to getting your identity through the other person. That's not something we would all aspire to. But being a high-value woman requires us to have our own thing. You got to have your own thing going on, ladies. And that's important. That not only builds your own self-respect and confidence, but other people's respect and confidence in you as well. So the bottom line is tip number 1, have a life. If you don't have a life, get one. And that can be just taking time to cultivate something that interests you and really commit to it and cultivate it. And don't break that boundary for it. That's very important. Tip number 2, which of course relates to tip number 1, is be interesting and bring novelty to a relationship. Having a life will increase the chances that you are interesting because you've got something to contribute, something to talk about, particularly if it's something that you're passionate about. There's nothing more contagious or interesting or captivating than enthusiasm, right? If I was here chatting with you and I was like, well, we're to talk about being a high value woman and, it's just kind of, we're going to have a little chat. It's like, okay. But if I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, you got to hear this. This is the coolest thing ever. I put together 15 tips for you that I think are awesome and I can't wait to share it with you, or something like that. It's just much more engaging, believe it or not. So be interesting and bring something new and fresh and exciting to the relationship, which again applies to tip number 1 of having a life. So number 3, contribute something of unique value. This doesn't have to be anything special. Don't freak out when I say you're contributing something of unique value. This could be, some of the most interesting relationships occur because the two people have their respective roles and they're very different, yet still very important, and they're meeting needs of the other. We fit together like jigsaw puzzles, right? It's like, for example, your partner might be a really good cook and you can't cook at all. So like, that's his thing. Cool. You take that. Or, it could be something like you make the house a home. You make coming home worth coming home to. You give it soul, you give it heart, you give it snugginess and coziness and just the little touches that make people feel warm and cozy. And again, that they want to come home to it. So your contribution doesn't have to be like, I'm killing it on Wall Street, or I, got this amazing job, or whatever. It could be something that is mundane or considered mundane, very simple, yet extremely valued by the other person and meeting a need. It could be that you are the lively one, that your partner maybe is a little more introverted or would be like a homebody and really kind of wouldn't leave the house much. And you're the one who's like, come on, let's go out to dinner tonight. Let's get out here. Or you know what? We haven't had friends over in a long time. Let's have a dinner party or whatever. And you're the one who engages socially. And that's of value. It could be you're bringing in the money. I mean, that's an obvious one, right? But you've got to contribute something of unique value in some way. Okay, tip number 4, say no. And have standards and then stick by them. This is very important. I've talked before on my show about boundaries. Had a great episode back in the beginning of the show, and we talked about setting emotional boundaries. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's a powerful, very, very important episode that I often have to listen to again because I've struggled with that, being a reformed people pleaser. We'll put that in the show notes for you. If you have a hard time holding that line for things that are important to you or your own needs, we've got to talk values, girlfriend, okay? And we've got to talk boundaries, girlfriend. This is very important, a hard lesson for a lot of us ladies. But saying no and having standards that you stick by and honor yourself is very, very important and critical for other people to respect you. As my friend and mentor, Paul Chek, says, if you don't say no, your yes has no value. Okay, you don't want to be the doormat, that's for sure. An example of this, and we're just going to have a little heart-to-heart here, okay, a little girl talk. Let's just say you started a new relationship, okay, and it's really going great. And you're really, thinking, wow, this person's awesome, and you get butterflies when you see them, and everything's really super, and wow, this really could be something here. This is amazing. All right. So eventually you're going to start thinking, okay, now what about sex, right? It's almost time to start thinking about, okay, are we going there? Are we doing this? Are we taking this next leap? So this is important if you have values that, you really want to have an established relationship before you open yourself up intimately with another person. And I will add that my opinion is that would be wise to do based on what I've learned, particularly with females, that there is actually a direct energetic connection between our womb and our heart. Did you know that? It's true. Ladies, you've got to consider that anybody that you let into your body, you literally let into your body. You let into your energy space, into your being. They have literally crossed a boundary, your boundary around your body, like your skin. They are inside your being. And this is something that you can really ponder, like the bigger meaning of what we're talking about here. And it's even said in some Buddhist cultures that energetically, that human, that man will stay with you long after you've broken up. When you've had sex with someone, and particularly if they orgasm inside of you, that person is actually inside your body. You've got to kind of break that cord energetically. That's something I talk with my private clients about, because a couple times we've had to do that. And if you haven't done that with past lovers, you might want to think about it. But something to think about. My point is for today's discussion is that if you've got a boundary on not having sex too early, you want to wait till you're ready and you're emotionally ready to go there. That's very important. And that's a boundary. And if you say no, that needs to be respected and that you stand by. Another boundary is that you pick him. Did you know that in all mammals, the female is the one that gives the go-ahead? It is true, ladies. The female is always the one that let me tell you, watch lions in the Sahara, watch animals, watch birds. They all, when they are ovulating or they're in heat or they're in their cycle, they are the ones that give the male of the species some sort of signal. Okay, baby, you're up. And they make it happen. So we as ladies ultimately have the power to pick the man. Now, you might be thinking, well, I wish, Amy, because I would pick that guy or that guy, and it's not happening. Well, let me just share with you to keep in mind that you do have the power to pick the man. Now, you might not get the man that you're thinking you want per se, like he's not available or whatever. Maybe he's not into you or whatever. But my point is that you ultimately are the boss of you, and that you are the one that will ultimately decide if a man does want to be with you, that you say yes or you say no. It's not just, oh, I have no choice here. I hope you get what I'm putting down. So you decide your rules, your boundaries, meaning this is important to me. I don't want to have sex until this certain time, or yes to you, no to you. It's your choice. You want to retain that sovereignty. The female chooses the mate and the mating. So don't be desperate, ladies. Value yourself. The most important, valuable thing you can give another human being is your heart and your time. This is very, very important. I wish my nieces would get this. I know it's hard. Maybe you've got younger kids or even, kids in their 20s, or if maybe you're in your 20s or 30s and you're listening to this. I get it. It's a different generation and there's different standards for sex and dating and hooking up and hanging out and all this kind of stuff and open relationships. And I get it. I mean, I'm involved in culture. I'm not completely living in a closet. I get it. But if I had some wise advice to give you as someone that's probably older and been through more than you and pretty experienced with the kind of people that I run around and I'm fortunate enough to have on my show to learn from that are a lot smarter than me, I can tell you right now that it's very important that you value yourself. You value yourself and you don't give it away. Do not give it away. This is very important. Be discriminating, not desperate. I realize this is tied up with your self-value. So if you don't value yourself, you can't expect your partner to value you either. So don't be too available. Have standards and stick to them. And if you need to work on your self-love and feeling worthy, then get to work. Tip number 5, set your boundaries and your rules. This is the old saying that you teach people how to treat you. Okay, this is an important concept. I'm going to say that again. We teach others how to treat us based on what we tolerate and allow. Okay, this is very important. So let's say, for example, someone doesn't call you back, or they're rude to you, or they're screaming at you, or they're throwing stuff around when you get in an argument. Are you tolerating that? You know, how do you react to that? How do you respond to that? Is that acceptable to you? We determine, okay? You determine, like it or not. Now, you might not like what they do, but are you still sticking around? Is that a deal breaker for you? Do you call out on it? Do you use your voice and speak up? Do you allow it? There's different types of supporting behavior. One is active and one is passive, but both can be supportive. If you are being quiet about something that upsets you, you are allowing it. You're being passively supporting. So it's important to set our boundaries and not to overgive. And you don't want to lose yourself or lose your voice. Tip number 6, understand that life and relationships are about a give and take. It's not just about the give. And I'm emphasizing the give because most of us, particularly if you're aligned with me and you're a subscriber to the show, so I'm assuming you kind of are, we are overgivers, right? Or maybe you're even in the healthcare industry and it's all about helping others and taking care of others. Or maybe you're a mom or you're just a nice person, you know, and you just like to contribute to people and give. Well, remember, relationships are that. Relationships. It's reciprocal. It has to be a two-way street. Tip number 7, take good care of your body. This is important, everybody. You know I'm into health and holistic health and wellness. I have been for a very long time. And I'll tell you what, the older I get, the more happy I am that I have been into it, because how you live now will determine how you live later. Remember that. So there's 2 things I want to share with you here. Start today. No matter where you're at, start today. You're going to be happy you did, because I don't care if you're 20, I don't care if you're 60. You start today, because how you live now is going to determine how you live later, and you're going to be glad you did. Okay? And the other thing is, if you're 60, 70, 80, it's never too late. So start today. It all matters. Your body wants to be healthy. It wants to thrive. It wants to be happy. It wants to work the way the Creator made you to work. So help it out and it will respond beautifully. So take good care of your body. You know, you want to remember too, you don't have to be a fitness model or something, but make maintaining your health and fitness part of your lifestyle. This is very important. And this has to do not only with how you're going to feel and look, obviously, but your self-respect, you know, giving yourself that time, that care, that love. And it's going to show others that you respect yourself, right? That this is a very important thing. Not to mention, of course, it's going to make you more attractive. So take good care of your body. Tip number 8, don't get complacent. Secure and stable is important, but we're always reinvesting in our relationship and the other person. So this is really important. If you've been with someone for a while, this is what happens, right? The novelty wears off, that honeymoon period, all that, and you start to see the warts, or you have a few problems and you get a few scuffles. Okay, you got to keep that spark. You got to keep that romance. You've probably heard of people that have date nights and all that are apparently very, very successful. So it's about always bringing that novelty, keeping things fresh, experiencing new things together. This is all the way to keep it kind of just not boring and not the same old, like Groundhog Day every day. Tip number 9, Ladies, you've got to watch the messages that you're putting out to the world. Let's get real here. Your social media profile, the words you use, the comments you make on other people's profiles, it all matters. Of course, you want to be authentic and real, but you really want to take a hard look at what you are showing the world about yourself. Does your social media channel have an excess of booty shots or maybe cleavage, or you've got a lot of filters on your stuff or whatever? This sends a particular message. Now look, do whatever you want. Of course, this isn't about judgment, but I'm calling out some people on it because it is what it is. And it's sending a message. And to me, it's interesting because, I have modeling experience and, let me just lay it on the line. I was super fit for a period in my life, completely committed, immersed in the industry. I was living and working in Miami Beach. I was right there. Okay. And I saw a lot of this. It was very tempting to put a lot of body shots and, abs and booty and all this stuff. And I'm not going to lie. If I put something of me in like a bikini or whatever, it felt great to get all that attention and feedback and approval and everything from social media or whatever. Of course, I'm human, right? But the funny thing is I've gotten older and it's funny how you kind of evolve spiritually and psychologically. Because now when I see women doing stuff like that, now I never put excessive, sexual type pictures up. Never, ever, ever. Okay, and I'm going to get to that in one of my tips coming up. But my point is that when I notice women kind of doing that, to me, it screams, like me. Make me feel good about myself. Make me feel like I'm beautiful and I'm desirable and you think I'm attractive. So I get a little bit of an ego boost and I feel good about myself. It's like you're fishing for attention. You're fishing for compliments. You're fishing for validation. And that's the truth. Now, what I'm saying to you is, yeah, I guess I did it to some regard. I don't know. Maybe we all do a little bit. But gosh, to be a high value woman, you want to be really real with yourself on what image and what energy and what message you are putting out there. So how do you know if your image and channels and whatever you're sharing with the world is something that a high value woman would share? Well, I'll propose that if you could share it and show it to your father, or maybe your young son or child, or someone that you highly respect, and they see the picture that you're posting and they have no problem with it, then you're probably good. Okay? That's just a barometer that I would use. Number 10, like yourself. Strive to be the best kind of person that you are proud to be, or at least someone that you aspire to be. And this has to do with what I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that, I've always done that my whole life. I've always sought out people that I wanted to be like or learn from. And, as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues, right? Or something that I loved seeing that something was possible, whatever it may be. Like they're showing me, they're doing it. That means it's possible. I don't know if it's probable, but it's possible I can do it too because it's been done. So like yourself and strive to be the kind of person that you want to be. Think of people you admire and their qualities and attributes and basically just emulate them, learn from them, study what they study and see what happens. Tip number 11, be real, be human, have good manners, and have class. This is very important for women in this day and age. There's a lot of confusion, the sexual revolution and, gender bending and the lines being blurry and what's cool and what's acceptable and what's sexy and what's powerful and gender roles and all this stuff. Well, let me tell you something. I will always be a woman who maintains a sense of dignity and class and respect, both for myself and others. Now, don't get me wrong. I am like basically becoming a farmer. Okay. I've gone from like fitness pro to farm. Okay. Because I'm learning about how to bond with the soil and cultivate a garden. And I'm looking into getting a couple of farm animals. So I love that. And I'm an athlete. Okay. I get down and dirty with the best of them. I love lifting rocks. I love getting dirty. I love playing in the mud. I'm all about jeans and, work boots and cowboy hats. That's me, okay? But you can still do it with a sense of dignity and style and class. And I feel the world is in desperate need to see ladies with class, with self-respect, self-esteem, class, and still being real, still having something to offer that's relatable and genuine and down to earth. Tip number 12, be respectful and courteous. This has to do with tip number 11, that has to do with being ladylike, in that this is very important for ladies and women to be respectful of others and to be courteous. Do you say thank you? Do you say please? It's kind of horrific sometimes to be around the younger generation or younger kids. Like, where are their manners? We were taught to say thank you and please and I'm sorry and to write thank you notes and all that kind of stuff. It might sound archaic to you, but this is important and it goes a long way. Just a simple thank you, a simple please to everybody is very important. Tip number 13, be confident, but not too confident. Now, this is going to go to all the women in particular that feel like they're a feminist, and they're all about girl power and we could do everything that men do and we're equals and all that's great. Rah, rah, go team. I'm all for it, okay? But I've also seen, and maybe you have too, women that are so independent that they literally repel men. I don't know how else to say it. And it's because my theory is the men feel like they have nothing to contribute. There's nothing to give. They don't feel needed. They don't feel like they can do anything to make her life better. She doesn't need me. So I don't get any fulfillment out of being in this relationship. And that's a problem. And these women wonder why they're alone. Okay. So yes, be confident, have your independence, be competent as well as confident. Be able to do it. Hell, learn how to change a tire if that turns you on. But let your partner contribute something to you so they feel valued and needed. This is very important. And let them know what it is. Everybody wants to feel valued and needed, right? Heck, I know I do. So your partner has to feel that he or she has something to contribute to you and he or she can make you happy. Otherwise, they won't feel valuable and they won't feel needed or important. Tip 14. Oh my gosh, we're already at the last two. All right. Have good hygiene. This is important. You can't be a high value woman if you don't have good hygiene. Now, trust me, when I moved and my life was basically a shit show, I think I wore the same outfit. No, I was actually rotating 2 or 3 outfits for a good 3 weeks. I was just washing and wearing the same thing. I had stuff in boxes. Like I basically like brushed my teeth. And of course I took showers, but I wasn't doing my hair. I certainly wasn't doing makeup or any of that, but I kept good hygiene. Okay. So I get it. I moved. I had 4 dogs all of a sudden at once. One of my dogs was in heat. My male dog is not fixed. So that was a complete mayhem. I had workers in and out of my house, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people a day. It was nuts. Phones ringing, still working. All the stuff was crazy, cray. But I kept good hygiene. Kind of funny to talk about it. And no, I wasn't doing my hair and makeup and all that stuff. Hell to the no. But I was trying to keep myself together at least a little bit, wearing clean clothes and brushing my teeth and trying to just a little bit put myself together. So a good rule of thumb is double check yourself before you leave the house, whenever that may be. Have a mirror, look in it, and definitely always remember to look behind. Check out your back view. That's always important. You want to make sure you don't have a piece of tape stuck to your butt or something like that, or maybe a piece of lint, like, I don't know, like on your boob or whatever it may be. You just want to make sure. Okay, that's important. It's always a good idea to check your teeth too, because, I don't know about you, but I often have food or something stuck in my teeth, which is kind of funny. So double check before stepping out. You want clean clothes, no stains, no rips. And if you want to take it up a little bit, a quick swipe of mascara or a little glob of lip gloss will go a long way. And if you're really in a pinch, throw on a cute hat or something. And that only takes a few seconds because, you never know who you're going to run into. And, it's worth it just to feel a little bit better. So have good hygiene. All righty. Grand finale, drum roll please from somebody. The last tip on being a high value woman from me, Amy Fournier, your pal, is have a growth mindset. This is really important, okay? It seems like I'm saying that in all the tips. Well, I think they're all important, which is why I put them down. So here you go. You want to have a high value growth mindset. That means you're always interested in making yourself better. It doesn't mean you feel like you're a mess and you need a lot of work and, you're a disaster. No, it just means that you're interested in evolving, in growing, in owning your shit, in addressing your demons, your issues, your programming, your trauma, whatever it is, so you don't project that on other people and you end up being miserable or always fighting and wonder why. Okay? So have a growth mindset means how you're interested in evolving, okay, and learning about something. And it doesn't even have to be like the personal stuff. It could be just growing and learning about life, or how to cook or whatever it may be. You're interested in growing and learning. This is very important. So there you go, my friend. I put together 15 of my personal tips on how to be a high value woman. I'm wondering which ones really hit home for you. Which ones made you raise your eyebrows and stop and think like, oh, I never thought of that. Which ones really need your attention and for you to add to your list? And I want to know what you have for tips. Can you contribute some tips to me? Let's make the list longer. I'd love to hear what your tips would be on being a high value woman. You can hit me up on my social media at FitAmyTV on Instagram, Amy Fournier on Facebook. And I would just love to hear what you think. If you think this episode might help a woman in your life that's high value, go ahead and send it to her. And you could take a screenshot if you listen to the podcast and tag me in it. And I'll come on over and say hi to you. I love when people do that. So thanks for being here. I hope you found value in it. Let's increase the high value women quantity in the world. Woo! Hee-rah, she-rah. Let's go, girls. I'm right in your corner, girlfriend. I can't wait to see you next time and to be with you again on Awakening Aphrodite. Now go awaken her in you. Would you like to support my mission to help empower people all over the world to be all of who they truly are? If so, please subscribe to the show, leave a review on iTunes, and share it with a friend. And if you're looking to take immediate action to align your energy and optimize your health, visit amyfournier.com. Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite. Let's awaken her together in you. I'm your hostess, Amy Fournier, and I already can't wait to be with you again and for you to hear what I have planned for the next show.
Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. To learn more about Amy, check out her website, amyfournier.com. That's AMYFOURNIER.com. You can also check out Amy's live and on-demand virtual fitness and yoga classes, and sign up for her newsletter to receive a free mini ebook of 3 of her top tips for making holistic health a lifestyle. Again, that's amyfournier.com, and get your ebook sent to your email immediately. Connect with Amy on the daily on Instagram at FitAmyTV, FITAMYTV, and watch many of the podcast episodes and subtopic clips on her YouTube channel, which is also Fit Amy TV. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.